everyone, it's Sam here. So today I'm going to make a gift bag using my handbags book. So if you're new to my channel, I'm basically working myself through this lovely little book which just has loads of handbags and I turn them into gift bags. So I will share the link to this specific handbags kind of playlist up here, but check out the gift bag playlist as well because there's loads on there. But I thought today I would try and do, the shape I'm going to go for is this, but then I'm going to add like a gift card holder. But I also thought you've got, you know, lovely ideas here. There's like a pocket watch there, but you could have a little compact mirror, use some mirrored card. Might be something I add to it. We'll see how we go. But the shape is going to be like this. I've got the chain. We're going to have a handle and then this piece here. So I've got everything ready and cut. So hopefully it's going to turn out really well. So let's get started. Okay, so first of all, we need to make the front and the back. So this is going to be the shape of the gift bag. So overall size, it's going to be 8, well, it's just over 8, it's about 8 1/4 by 10, I think it was. Yeah, so it's gonna be a nice size, and I think I'm doing it 3 inches wide. So for the front and back, you want 2 pieces of 10 by 8 1/4. It'd be easier if I'd use that one. And with this one, you would just need to mark with a pencil. So along the top here, you want to mark at 1 1/2 and 8 1/2. Then rotate it all the way around so you've got the other end, and you're going to mark at 3 and 7. And then along the 8 1/4 side, you want to mark at 2 1/4, and then you want to mark at 2 1/4 here. Don't flip it or go around that way, because if you do 2 1/4 now at that end, it's going to be wrong. This is the bottom of the gift bag. So 2 1/4, and then just use a ruler and do 2 1/4 at that end. So you should now have the 1 1/2 and the 8 1/2 at the top. Then you've got your 2 1/4 markers down here on each side, and then you've got the 3 and 7, I think it was, yeah, at the bottom there. I'm then going to use my trimmer. If you want to cut by hand, what I would suggest is then join up this marker to this one with a pencil, and that one, and then that one to that one, and that one up to that one. I'm just going to pop mine in, probably not going to fit in that one. So I'm going to line up, start from the top here. So I'm just going to line up my pencil marks in my track and just remove that piece, and then go along to the bottom here and just work your way around. Okay, so you want 2 of them. So now when I pop mine together, I've got them the same. What you could do now is just use that one to lay on your other piece of cardstock, and then just draw around the 2 sides. Rub out any pencil marks you've got. I'm probably just going to hide that on the inside along with that one there. But 2 pieces of that. Then for the base here and these side pieces, you want a piece of 11 1/2 by 4. Along the 4 inch side, you want to score at 1/2 inch and 3 1/2. And then along the 11 1/2, you want to score at 3 3/4 and 7 3/4. And then for the sides, so this side and this side, you want 2 pieces of 4 by 6 3/4. Along the 4, you're going to score again at 1/2 and 3 1/2. And then along the 6 3/4, you want to score at 1/2. Do that twice. If you want yours to slightly fold, and you'll need to add this line if you have the same lid as me, but I know some people might have it without the lid and just have it open, then don't add that score line. But if you want it to close and be just like mine, then you also want to score at 2 along that 4 inch side, about 3/4 of the way down. I've gone down to about 4 1/2, and then again down there to 4 1/2. Okay, so 2 pieces, and then this piece is for the closure or the lid. So this is 8 1/2 by 6. Along the 6 inch side, you want to score at 1/2 inch and 2. And then along that long side, you're going to score at 3/4 past the first score line and down to the second. And then at 7 3/4 past the first score line and down to the second. Okay. Now I need to do a few pencil marks on that. Actually, we'll come back to that in a minute while I've still got the scoreboard out. If you want to add the little gift card, you need our scoreboard later, but this is 7 3/4 by 3 1/2. Along the 3 1/2 side, you're going to score at 1/2 and 3, and then along the long side, you're going to score at 1 3/4 and 5 1/4. And I've measured this around this here so it will fit a gift card. So you fold and burnish those there. Once we cut everything else, that's going to sit in there with maybe a glue dot, or it can just slot in because it's a little pocket that we're making, and then that closes and we're going to have a little clasp there. Okay, then for the handle, this is 6 by 1, and along the 6-inch side you want to score at 1 and 5. You might do yours differently to me with this piece. And then for the, to kind of hold all of my hardware, because I've got these here, you'll want 3 pieces of 1 by 2. Okay, so with this piece you've got your 2 score lines, your half and your 2. So pop it on its side, so you've got those score lines on the left hand side, and you want to come in from this side here 1 1/4 inches and mark with a pencil, and again along the top 1 1/4, and then you just want to draw a pencil line from that marker up to the bottom of that score line. Okay, now I put keep on these little bits here, these kind of rectangle pieces that you'll have, because it might help just kind of hide like the gifts or whatever you're popping in there, but you can easily remove it later on. So I'm going to leave it on for now. So I'm just going to fold and burnish those 2 score lines. The cardstock I'm using is the Lidl, the heavyweight cardstock. So in fact, I'm going to use my little snips here. So first of all, I just want to remove that small little rectangle. Like I said, if you're watching this all through first, then I may well cut this away later on in the video, but I think it's best to just keep it on for the minute. And then I'm going to cut down the score line and then cut right across that pencil line, like so. Let me just tidy that up a little bit, and then again on this side. Like so. And then I've realised there's another pencil mark I didn't tell you to do. Along this side, so there's the 2 score lines. Along this side, you want to come in 2.5 inches from this side, and then again 2.5 from this side. And again, where that pencil mark is that you've already done, I'm just going to draw a pencil line there to join them up, and then I'm going to cut that away. And that will now give us the same shape kind of as the bottom of the gift bag. So the top kind of matches the bottom, but that's going to close like so, and then those bits potentially are going to go inside just to kind of help keep it all together. But I think that looks quite good, just gives it a slightly different shape for the closure there. So I'm just going to rub off any pencil marks. Okay, so you want to take this piece here that will have the 3 sections and fold and burnish the score lines. Okay, and then you want to cut up all of the score lines to the first score line. So just along that 1/2 inch tab, just cut up like so, because you want this to be able to move now, like that. Now I think it's best to then also add these pieces to each end and then stick it all in as one long piece. So your side pieces, again, you want to fold and burnish those score lines. Okay, and then along the bottom you want to remove the little squares in each corner. Okay, and then I'm just going to take a little wedge off of all of the sides on both pieces. Okay, so we want this piece in the middle, and then this is going to attach to this end, and then this one's going to attach to this end, and then we'll attach it to those larger pieces. But we've just got that whole piece now that's going to wrap around. So I'm going to use the quick grab glue here on this small tab. Then I might use my construction glue on the other pieces, just because I'm not sure who I'm giving this to yet. I'll probably just keep it displayed for a while. I like to hang some of these like handbag style gift boxes on the back of my door, and then usually someone sees it and they're like, oh, I like that. So that one in there, and then this one here. And just make sure those score lines all run perfectly next to each other. Now what I'm also going to do is take a wedge off of all of these as well. You don't, I mean, you can still stick it all in with it straight, to be honest, but I think it's just going to be a little bit easier to not have the bulk, because they're going to kind of overlap each other a little bit. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this. So then take one of these, and we're going to start by sticking this one along the bottom. Then we'll do the sides, and then we'll finish like so. Like I said, I'm going to start using the construction glue now, because when this dries, it takes a little bit longer to dry, but when it dries solid. So I'm going to start with the middle one first of all, and make sure the fold lines up with the bottom of that section. You've just got a little bit more wiggle time with this, so you can really make sure it's exactly where you want it to be. Okay, so I've got something like that, and then I'm going to add glue. It's easier to do it when it's facing this way, so just run a little glue along that tab, and I'm going to do this one at the same time, like so, and then I can bring that one up, and then that one as well. I find it easier actually to do it this way, because you can look on this side quite easily and just kind of move that. I'm not too worried about how it looks inside. You can always cover it later on, because when I give you the matte layer size, you can just, you know, cut more and cover the inside as well. Okay, and again I'm going to flip it over this way to add the glue onto the tab, and then flip it back over to position it. So that's one side done, and now with this one, you should just be able to sit that one over the top. You might have to just move your side pieces a little bit. That should all meet up nicely, and it's easy to get your hand in at this stage. It's very similar construction wise to the alphabet letters that I've been starting to make. So if you've done those, it's pretty similar to that, but you have got more room to get your hand inside with this one, whereas the letters, it's a little bit more challenging in some parts. So I'm going to add it onto all the pieces all at one time, but you can do it bit by bit again. Okay, so now you should be able to squeeze the sides in, and I'm going to have mine expand to 1.5 inches, which is the width of this piece. So you'll see when that goes on, we start to get a really lovely effect. And that should, yeah, if my measurements were right, which they are, it just lines up. I've got some glue there, that will go, but I think I'm going to pop it onto this side. Now, if it's come up a little bit high, can you see mine as there? You could easily trim that, but you know what? I'm going to just leave it. In fact, I could probably pull that up a bit. It's still a bit wet. Yeah, so just try and get it as close to the top as you can, because you can always trim if you're a little bit out with your measurements. You can, it's quite easy to trim around the sides there. Okay, so, and this is why I was saying these pieces are optional, because I'm thinking about actually, yeah, I'm not going to need them because that points inwards, so that's going to hold the gifts and you're not going to see it, so just remove them. But I am just going to take a little wedge off of that tab, so that's going to go on the back, and that's the bit we want to stick next. So I'm going to run my glue all the way down here, and then yeah, I'll go for this one. So I'm just going to just sit it over, just so it lines up to that score line. So just give it a minute for everything to dry, and then we can start adding the mats and layers. Okay, so whilst that's drying, you want to cut yourself one piece of 8 by 3.5. That's to cover this section here. And then you'll want 1 or 2 pieces. I'm not going to decorate the back, but if you want to decorate the back as well, then like I said, 1 or 2 pieces of 7 3/4 by 9.5. This cardstock was given to me, I think it was from Create and Craft, might have been, or maybe it was by Kanban, I can't remember. It's like a textured animal print. It's like the water droplets there, you can feel them all. It's really cool, but I thought it would work quite well for handbags. So if it's directional, this isn't, so it doesn't matter, but if it's directional, make sure that you've got it facing the right way up. I flipped it over so the pencil marks, you know, are not going to be visible, but have it the right way out because this is the bottom here. So along the bottom, you want to come in at 2 3/4 mark with a pencil, and then again 2 3/4 here, and then you're going to come up 2 inches. So I've already marked with a pencil, and then again 2 inches, and then along the top you want to come in 1 1/2, and again there 1 1/2. I'm then going to draw a pencil line joining these up, and you're creating the exact same shape that we already have made with those other pieces. And hopefully, again, I've worked the measurements out correctly, so I'm just going to line this up in my trimmer and just remove all those sections. Again, if you're doing 2, you can just use that now to draw around the other one, but this should, fingers crossed. Yeah, it does, perfect. That covers that really nicely. So we'll stick that one down in a minute, and then with this one here, this is the, again, if flip it over and have it the right way up, you want to come in 2 1/4, mark with a pencil from each side, come up the sides here 1 inch, okay, and then come in 3/4 of an inch on each end there. And again, I'm just going to join those markers up, and it's going to give you that same shape. And now this one fits perfectly on the top there. So I'm going to just checking I don't need to stick anything before. No, so I'm going to get these stuck down. So I'm using the construction glue, so now this is going to strengthen everything. If you want to add more strength to the bottom, maybe you're putting something with a bit of weight in this, then I'll give you the measurements for the mat and layer for the bottom, and you can do the inside as well. But you could also line it with some grey board, maybe like, you know, a few layers of cereal box. So whilst that's drying, yeah, if you want to cover these sections here, then you would need, I'd do 2 3/4 by 3 1/2, and then that one would be again the same width, but it would be 3 3/4, and again that's the same. If you've not scored down there, you will have to make that bit bigger, obviously it'd be the 3 inches rather than the 1 1/2, but then you could cover that as well. But yeah, if you do those there and then the same inside, and you could also, you know, like I said, cut this matte layer again and stick it in here and obviously on the back. But for the minute, mine is just going to stay in my craft room, and then I'm just going to stick this one down. So I've just got my glue gun warming up because I want to attach these. Now these are usually used for soft craft, but they also work on our paper crafts. So I've got 2, so I'm going to use one on the gift card just so everything matches, and then one on the main closure here. And then I've got 3 D-rings. 1 D-ring I'm keeping again with the gift card, and then 2 for the sides of this. So you'll want 2 of these pieces, this handle piece. Oh, I need to stick that one down in a minute, and then those, that's for there. Right, I've got 2 pieces of chain. If you don't have chain, use cardstock. So, but the chain, go, if you know, maybe you've got some broken jewelry that you know don't want anymore, but also if you go into your charity shop, so lots of them have, you know, necklaces and stuff for like 50p, £1, and they also sometimes have a bag of like lots of broken jewelry. You can pick them up for maybe like a few £. It's really handy if you like to make 3D projects, and if you've looked back at some of my older tutorials, I've used a lot of hardware before. So the chain or cardstock, depending on, like I said, what you're using, it's going to be about 8 inches. It's just under, but I think the chain's a little bit, you know, it's not pulled out as much as it could be. So 2 pieces of 8. I guess you want to do by 1 if you're using cardstock, because then that's the width of these pieces to go through the D-rings. So what I want to do first of all is attach one of the ends here. So I'm just going to, so I just want to open these up, and I use, these are just oldest like cheapy scissors, but it just means I can open that up. If you're a jewelry maker, then obviously there's easier ways, but I just want to make sure I've got enough there just to be able to push that through like so, and then I'm just going to close that off. So that's attached. I'm going to do the same with this one. Okay, and then I'm going to take one of these and pop it through there, and then I'm just going to use some hot glue. You don't need the hot glue for this bit, you could just use a normal glue, but I'm just going to squeeze that in there. Okay, you actually want more D-rings because you need 2 at this end as well, so between 4 and 5 depending if you're doing the little gift card piece as well. So again, I'm just popping them on that end just like I did with those ones. Okay, and then I've got this piece which was the handle, so just pop a curve in there, and then you can stick this down after. Actually, I'll give you the measurements for that piece because I don't think I've done that one or that one. But I mean, this is, you can change and do this however you want. So then at this end I'm going to attach one end there. I've done this on my Chanel inspired gift bag, this same kind of handle, so I will link, well that'll be in the playlist, but I'll also link it at the end of this tutorial because I think they're quite similar, and it's another designer style. And then again you're going to pop it through this end here. That's looking really nice. Now I've done 8 inches, but you might not want your handles as long as that, so you may want to do 4, might want to half it, or 6 inches is entirely up to you. This is now going to attach inside here, and it's going to come up around the side. So what I might do is just put a little kind of fold just along like the bottom of the D bar there. I'll do this one, and again just run some glue just in the middle and just make sure it's in the center like so, and then make sure my chain's not twisted. You want to stick this one on the opposite side. Okay, so you've got those 2 there, so that's going to come down once that's in place, and then your D bars come up that way. There we go. I think it looks really cool. So with this one, if you've got something like this, now I'm obviously aware that not everybody is going to have this, so what I would suggest is you pop some Velcro or a magnet underneath this piece here, and then you could add some faux mirrored card to look like hardware. I've got lots of really nice kind of faux hardware closures across many of those handbag tutorials, so if you don't have this, just check out one of those other videos and then you'll be able to get an idea. So first time I've actually used this one, so I think this one I need to have attached first, and that's going to go underneath there, and then it needs to have room. So I guess that actually would go in between. No, that's it. Yes, that needs to go in between there. So I'm going to take that bit off, and I'm just going to hopefully open this up a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to add my glue just in the middle there. And then I want this to be in the middle. So I'm just sticking the back on first because that's where the glue is. Let's get that nice and straight. Okay, so you can see now that's in there nicely. And then I'm going to pop little glue. You don't want it falling inside the closure because that's where this bit needs to work. So hold it up this way so the glue does move kind of back down, and then just squeeze that closed. So next I want to keep this all down, and I think I'm going to just fold all of those pieces in because it's not going through the fabric, and I'm going to pop it back on there. And then I'm going to cover this with hot glue inside there, and then bring it over and then let that lay where it lines up. And just hold that there for a second. And then once it's kind of in place, just take it out, and then I can go in there and just push that down just to really get that glue stuck. Okay, so that's completely cooled down and is a perfectly functioning closure. Then I've got these little bits of pattern paper. So I've got one by, it would have been 6.5. So that one's going to go on there. And then this one here is to go over this one here. So you've got 1/2 inch by 3.5. So I'm going to stick those down. So whilst that's drying, you want to grab your gift card piece and you're just going to cut up again the score lines just to the first score line on both of those long sides. Okay, and you want to remove that. I probably want to fold and burnish like so. You want to remove the middle 2 side pieces completely. So I'm just going to cut right up. In fact, you're going to remove the top small one as well, so it'll be easier for you to cut. You're going to remove this as well, so it's actually going to be easier to just cut all of this. Sorry, sometimes like when I do cards and stuff, I make 2 of everything, so I've already done one, but this, I've just got this one, so this is the first time obviously putting it together. And then that is going to go in like so, and then that one's going to come over the top. Yeah, so take a little wedge off of the corners here. Now you could have them just fold around the back if you want, but I'm going to keep mine folded inside, so I'm just going to use quick grab glue. And then just fold those in. And you should be able to slide your gift card in perfectly. And then that there will close with this one here. I mean, it's quite big, but I think it looks quite cool. So I'm going to stick this one down first. So it's the same pattern to match. So this is 2 by 1 1/4. I've then got another one of these and another D-bar, and I'm going to attach this through the D-bar in the exact same way, and I'm going to attach that to this, and then we can attach it to the bag. Okay, so that's all stuck down. It looks so cute. And then I've had to take 2 rings off of each side because I didn't have any more of this chain and I want everything matching. So it's up to you kind of how far you have it hanging down. I think I'm going to pop it maybe there. Yeah, just pop it in that one. And whilst that link's open, I'm going to add a little bit of bling. I'm not going to use all these, but oh, that one's not going to fit. Can't have that one. We'll have this one instead. Still looks nice. And again, just squeeze that together. Okay, and now we've got this cool little charm gift card holder. So it all opens, she says, like so. Probably should put a little curl. You might want to just soften that a little bit if you're using a simmer clasp. To me, just put a little bit of shape into that just so it can easily open. There we go, that's fine. But there you have it. How adorable is that? I'm so pleased with this one. Let me just show you again the inspiration. I think I've got it pretty close. I haven't done the exact curve, which I want to do, but sometimes when you work with curves, trying to teach it in a tutorial, not everybody's going to have that same kind of angled curve, and then the other measurements would be off and it would be quite frustrating for people. So I've gone for that shape because I think it's the closest. But I think it looks really nice. But have a little look at, you know, adding other charms. I think, you know, the pocket watch is a good idea. Maybe you're doing a more masculine style. You could add a pocket watch. You could do the little compact mirror or a coin purse. I think it's really, really nice, but I've gone for more that kind of style. But you can see like the chain, that's different. That one there's got lots of chains all going up to one section. You might have a really cool maybe brooch or a part of a middle of a necklace that you don't like, but it might have, be creative, maybe use an old necklace to just be the whole handle. There's lots of ways to add hardware, and you might find bits just, you know, lying around the house. So I hope you've enjoyed today's handbag style gift bag. I do love doing these, but I just don't have the time to do as many as I would like. Plus I don't have the space to be able to hold as many as I like. But like I said, this one I'm going to keep for a while. They're just nice hanging on the door, and from a distance it looks like a real bag. But I think I'll probably end up giving it to my sister so I can look after it for a while. As always, I will link what I've used in the description box below. I can link the D-rings and these buckles here. Cardstock, I doubt I can. And the chain, like I said, just raid your jewellery boxes or hit those charity shops and see what broken jewellery bits they've got as well. Thank you as always for watching. I'll be back again, hopefully one a month, using my handbags book. And yeah, thank you for watching as always. Give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed today, and I'll be back again very soon. Take care. Bye.